where would I put it in the house?
There's always room.
There's always room.
Hello and welcome to the Remedy Fibers podcast, a podcast about knitting and crochet hosted by me, Jillian. If you're new here, welcome, and if you're a returner, thank you so much for coming back to my channel. Today I was able to, drumroll, go to the Lambtown Festival located in Dixon, California. And I just want to give a special shout out to my two co-workers, Nick and Christine, for coming along with all my yarn craziness and, believe it or not, convincing me to buy a spinning wheel. I can't wait to show you her. She is beautiful. She is a vintage. She is fabulous. So stay tuned. If you're new here, I live in Northern California with my husband and dog Benny. I love everything yarn related, so I hope you stay for my yarn journey. Let's just jump right into it. Lambtown Festival was a success. There were so many vendors. When you entered, there were different halls, different exhibit halls that had, I don't know, 10 to 20 vendors in each side. I also did a little raffle card where you go to visit each shop that's on the card to enter for a giveaway, so fingers crossed I win. But it was just so cool to see all the types of fiber they had. So when I went, I made a plan that I wasn't really gonna buy fiber or yarn in particular. I really wanted to see what type of spinning wheels were gonna be there, as well as roving to spin with. So they had beautiful yarn selection. They had different kits. They had knitting, crochet. They had different project bags. But I really wanted to see what they had that was really gonna be worth bringing home, since I do have a lot of yarn right now. One of the booths that I stopped by that had spinning wheels was called Speigle, who is ran by Lisette. I spoke to her a few weeks ago on the phone about trying the polywog, and I did get a chance to try it out, but the treadling was a bit strange, especially that you treadle with your toes, so I figured it wasn't the one for me. I also got to visit Robin. It was so nice meeting her. If you watched last week's episode, I was able to visit her at her home, at her barn, and right now I'm currently renting the Ladybug Shack. I love that spinning wheel, but I had my eye on a discounted spinning wheel. It was a Ashford traditional, so not what I was thinking of ever buying, and it was only, believe it or not, $250, which is a steal, because I tried looking at Facebook Marketplace, I tried looking on Ravelry, I tried looking anywhere for a discounted or used spinning wheel. I'm not really sure if this is something that I want to fully commit to, but I do want to enhance my spinning skills. I want to continue to practice because I still consider myself a beginner. So I said, why would I spend $900, $1,000, $1,500 on a spinning wheel if the reality is I'm not sure if I'm going to commit to it or use it on a full-time basis. So my heartstrings was pulled towards this Ashford traditional. I just want to pull the sign. It says Ashford Traditional. It's around the 1970s, and I remember watching another YouTuber, Jillian Evie, has an Ashford Traditional 1970s wheel, and she said beware of buying vintage wheels because sometimes they're just parts and they're not working, but this one is actually a working wheel. I was able to try it there. I was able to treadle with it, and not only did it come with extra bobbins, it even came with hand carders. It came with these vintage hand carders so I can brush out my wool. It came with 4 bobbins, and these are little bobbins, so I need to practice how to spin very thinly. And it also came with a lazy case so I can apply my fiber on. I also purchased some wool so I can spin on my spinning wheel. I stopped by the Wonderland Dye Works studio booth, and this is called Mauve Mist. It's hand dyed in Northern California, and I wanted a easier wool to spin with, which I heard is Blueface Leicester. I didn't want the superwash merino, or I don't even know if it's superwash merino, but I heard merino is a more advanced wool to spin with. So this was 5 ounces, and I tried to expand past my purple. I immediately picked up purple, but I feel like this one is a nice palette of dark purple, light purple, beige, brown, and so I'm excited to spin this on my new spinning wheel. As for the ladybug shack that I'm renting, if you watched last week's video, I do have to return that next Sunday, so sadly I cannot keep it. I think that if I find that spinning is my passion and a hobby that I want to full-time pursue, then I would be ready to invest. For now, I want to really just practice, increase in my skill level, and learn how to spin more consistently. Overall, I recommend the Lambtown Festival if you're ever in the Northern California area for next year. It was the first time that they've had the festival since 2019, and it was just really small. It was such a comfortable venue. It wasn't packed. So it was just really nice just being around all the fiber lovers, fiber enthusiasts. One of my coworkers that were able to come even got a crochet kit, so that was really cool to see what they're going to make. But overall, 10 out of 10, I would definitely 100% go back, and hopefully I'm here in California next year to attend again. So let's jump into finished objects. I finished quite a bit of things, even though this was a not so productive fiber week for myself, just because a lot has been going on. And when I always tell people I'm always knitting, I'm always crafting, unless I'm sad or I'm sick, and I was just not in the greatest of moods this week. There's a lot going on, and hopefully I can use my knitting mojo and my spinning mojo to kind of keep me in a good calm place, because a lot of transitions are happening right now. But I find spinning this week was very zen, very therapeutic. In the beginning, when you're learning how to spin, it does not feel like that, but once you kind of get a grasp of what you're doing, it can be very trance-like. So let me show you what I spun this week. So this is the yarn that I spun. This is the roving. It looked just like this. This was the roving from Robin's Farm. Wool is from the Jacob sheep, and I had such a great time spinning it. It's 2-ply. I want to say this is worsted to the bulky side, but I'm really excited on how this came out. I love the color. I love how it feels. I want to either make a knitted headband with a matching little neck scarf, because it's only 125 yards. So this is the 2x2 hat by Anne Gagnon. It doesn't have the ribbed edge, but I was able to finish my matching hat, so Bright and I will have matching hats. I did lose a yarn chicken, so I had to use some of my new wool to finish off the hat, and I was this close, and I'm like, I think I want to rip it all apart, but this is very not noticeable. So let me try it on so you can see. It might look a little silly, but I'm hoping to add a pom-pom. But the good thing is that it does go over my ears. I have my hair up in a bun right now, so it doesn't go all the way down, but I wanted it to be a brimless hat, and then hopefully the pom-pom would accentuate the cuteness. But now we can have matching hats and hopefully wear them together, I guess next year, because Bright is leaving soon. He just got his paperwork for applying for his visa to Spain, so it looks like he's leaving in the next week or two. So definitely show me some love in the comments, and I'm gonna be going through my transition of being by myself again until he comes back, probably May or June time frame for basketball. But yeah, this is my matching hat. I'm so happy with how it came out, and I have used all the fiber of my Horizon yarn that I purchased back in Oakland, so can't wait to see how it looks with a pom-pom. The next finished object that I have are more face scrubbies. I wanted to use all the yarn. I don't like having leftover yarn, and so I ran out of orange yarn to make what I'm about to show you next. But as I was making these, I said they kind of look like coasters to me, so I actually took a picture with it with a mug on top, and it kind of looked better that way. So I'm not quite sure. These can be used as face scrubbies, they can be used as coasters, and then I was thinking if I was to crochet them together, maybe I can even make a carry bag, something to carry my items around with. So I think I'm gonna give these away because I don't need all of these in my life, but I did want to use up the yarn. Last but not least, look what I made. These pumpkins are so cute, but they were so easy to make. This is actually my first crocheted pattern that I've read without a video tutorial, and this one I kind of winged it because I didn't have enough yarn and I wanted a little version. But this one is the small size of the pattern, and you start with a magic ring, you work your way down, do the decreases, and then there's instructions on how to make this little stem. They also have a green leaf, but I didn't have green yarn to do that with, so I gave one to my supervisor, and and 2 in my office, just so I can be festive for the spooky season. But I'm obsessed with these. They're so adorable, so cute, and they just make me so happy. So that's all I have for finished objects. Let me show you my work in progress so far. So I'm still working on my Summer Sorrel by Woollen Pine Designs, and I thought I'll be done by now to wear it for today, but spinning took over my life, and that's where I need to balance the amount of time I'm spinning to the amount of time that I'm knitting, because spinning does take some time out of my knitting time. But I'm still working on the body. I think I'm about 11 inches in, and I'm trying to get down to 13 inches so I can bind off, do my ribbing, and then start working on the sleeves. I'm not quite sure how much yarn I'm gonna have to do 2 long sleeves, so I'm just gonna kind of wing it and see where I get with that. But I think I have quite a bit of yardage left to do a decent length sleeve. But this is one of the most beautiful colors I've ever worked with. The variegation is amazing, and if you see this, this is where they stamp you in Lambtown Festival. But the variegation is just so beautiful, and there's something about this purple that makes me feel like a Disney princess. So I'm really having a great time knitting this. The stockinette is just taking a little bit of time, and this is my cute little stitch marker with the lamb from the Natique store that I visited a few weeks back. As for life update, I know I mentioned it just a little bit ago, but Bright was able to visit LA this week, a 1-day return round trip ticket to do all of his visa paperwork for Spain. He's just waiting for one last piece of paperwork, and then he'll be leaving. So we're thinking he might get that last documentation either this week or next week. And so it's a new transition period because it's adjusting back to living by myself with Benny, as well as our relationship being fully in person to virtual, or I guess long distance. And so I think I have a good support system here, as well as great co-workers to spend my time with, and as well as my Fiber Fabulous community to connect with. And also I like to spend my weekends knitting and crocheting and now spinning, so I'm not worried about that. But he is my best friend, and it is gonna be a little sad to not have him here 24/7. If you didn't know, Bright plays overseas basketball. He's a professional basketball player and has played 2 seasons in Germany, 1 season in Portugal, and 1 season this year in Spain. Spain has one of the highest leagues in Europe, so we're really excited for this opportunity, and hopefully one day maybe I might join him overseas and live the life of a full-time fiber artist. Who knows? Let's put that out into the existence of the world. As for other life updates, I think right now I'm just trying to prep some travel plans. I hope to visit in Spain, as well as see my family soon, and then kind of just go to more yarn shops, visit more festivals, travel a little bit more in California, and spend all the time with Bright and Benny until Bright has to leave. Comment down below what you are working on, what projects you are excited to cast on as we get into the spooky fall season, as well as what do you think about my spinning wheel. It's so cute. Well, I hope that you and your family are happy, healthy, and safe, and I hope to see you next week. Take care. Bye.